We've got the backplate for our CPU cooler to install. We're installing this in an LGA 1851 socket, which is the same mounting holes as LGA 1700. So if you're going to be doing this, you're going to make sure you pull all these little pins to their outer setting. You're going to have them all pushed in towards the middle for an LGA 1200 socket. You can see we've got some double-sided adhesive here, which will help this stick to the back of the motherboard. You can pull this off if you want to stick it on. It's a temporary build for me, so I'm not going to stick it down. And then all we need to do is line it up the holes in the back of the motherboard, and once it's lined up, it should simply fall through. Then you're going to want to find the bag of standoffs labelled LGA 1700, and we're going to screw one onto each corner. If you're going to be installing an AMD motherboard, the first thing is to remove the stock clips, which are each held on with 2 screws. And you find the bag of screws labelled AMD, AM4, AM5, and you just need to screw one onto each corner. We're now ready to install our IO, and the first thing we need to do is set our fans onto the radiator. So it's great to see that all 3 of our fans are already connected together, and you can see the cables connecting the fans on one side. The other side, we don't have any connecting cables, so this is the side you're going to want to have facing the tempered glass panel. So it means for us, we're going to be installing it this way around. We can then secure the fans to the radiator using the long radiator screws. We then got some plastic covers which will hide the screw holes. In terms of connecting our fans up, we're going to use this long cable to connect them up to our pump. So we've got a male connector on this end of the fans, and we're going to plug them into the female connector on the connecting cable and push them into place. Then if we take a look at the cable coming from our pump, we're going to plug the other end of the cable into it. So because I'm using Phanteks' NextLink hub, I'm going to be able to plug this directly into a port on the hub. If you're not planning on doing this, there is an optional cable included with the IO that you can plug in to bring you back to more standard connectors. And then on the other end of the cable, you've got a 4-pin PWM connector to go into your CPU fan header. And we've got a 3-pin 5-volt ARGB cable to go into a header on your motherboard. The other cable coming from it is a JST connector, and that would also go into an older Phanteks hub. The other cable coming from our pump is a 3-pin fan connector, and we just need to plug this into the pump header on our motherboard. So it's good to see that our IO comes with thermal paste pre-applied, and we've got Intel bracket installed in the pump, which is going to be perfect for this build. If you're installing this in an AMD motherboard, you can simply slide this bracket out, so just push it this direction to remove it, and then you're going to be able to slot your AMD bracket into place. So I'm just going to pass the cable coming from our fans through to the back of the case, and then we're going to be able to set our IO up into place at the top. And we'll secure our IO into place at the top using the included short radiator screws. Next we can remove the plastic protection from our IO, and in terms of the cables, I just like to route them up around the bracket so it helps keep the cables organised running towards the top of the case. We can then line our IO up with the bracket we've installed on the motherboard, and we've just got a thumb screw to go on to each corner. Then we're just going to want to tighten each corner up in turn. I'm just going to pass this larger cable through to the back, and our 3-pin fan connector I'm going to plug into our pump header at the top. Then at the back of the case we can join the cable coming from our fans on the radiator into the cable coming from our pump, and then we're just going to plug this into port number 1 on our hub. So as we've already mentioned, if you're not planning on using this hub, simply plug that cable into the spare cable that comes with our IO, and from the other end of the cable plug the 4-pin fan connector into your CPU fan header and the ARGB cable into an ARGB header on your motherboard.